Hope everyone is doing great today. So today will be the week ahead for July 11th to July 15th, Friday. So we'll look at the economic reports and the Fed speakers here. It's Monday morning right now for me here, so sorry if I'm a bit late, but we have the 3-year inflation expectations, and then this guy will be talking apparently. Not too familiar with him to be honest, but this guy a little bit more familiar with. Anytime a Fed member speaks, it's definitely, well, a Fed, anyone kind of speaks, but well, especially, I don't know, can't remember if this guy votes or not, but anytime a Fed member who votes on interest rate speaks is very important. For those who don't kind of know, basically there is Jerome Powell, who is the head of the Fed, and then, well, he has all these community members from the different Feds, like I've shown before. There's the Atlanta Fed, the New York Fed, and well, et cetera, all the different cities somewhat. And they all vote on interest rates every, well, month or 2 months, depending on when their meeting is scheduled. And they are of very much importance to the economic and stock market world, especially these days. Wednesday is a big day, huge day. Anytime CPI, anytime any inflation data these days is coming out, it's of uber importance. The deal is though, is that this is a backwards looking metric. So yeah, it's backwards looking at the end of the day. Maybe we're not sure. It's not clear. Obviously, we've seen gasoline prices drop. I think everyone's even noticed them. Like the gasoline prices dropping at the pump for everywhere. I don't know if that is going to be reflected into this CPI, because it is backwards looking, and also the price in all the commodities dropping. Is that going to be reflected yet? Because the companies themselves have to again lower the prices. And it's not clear if I can tell you if that's happened or if it's even going to be registered for the month of June, because we're sitting here in July already. But again, though, of note, it's always just, like I say, it's a backwards looking number. So Thursday is another big day. He's speaking, and then jobless stuff, very important these days. Job market is still very strong, as much as, well, there was some mixed opinions on it yesterday, but overall it's still really strong. Nobody can deny that. There was, mixed opinions on it. Some people were saying, you look under the hood a little bit, it's weaker, but still strong. So, and Friday, he's speaking. It's of note. Lots of Fed speakers. They don't move the market nearly as much because, well, I think it's clear that we're going for 75, with this meeting here, but it's more what they're going to do after that. Are they going to pause? Are they going to go by just 50? I think, we should just go 50, keep looking at the data, and then maybe just keep going by 25. And you're not pausing that way. You're just going by 25. And if you feel the need, go higher. I'm very worried that they're going to break something in the economy. That's my main worry. And lower income people are suffering more and more. The higher you raise interest rates, the more they suffer. It's unfortunate. It bothers me, to be honest. But so we'll look at the S&P. It's 11 o'clock here Central Time for me. So here you can look at it so far today. It's been just a down day. Not much really happening. We'll look at a little bit of a heat map so far today. It's green and red, but mostly red, I would say. As you guys can see, especially technology, it's mostly red. Energy as well today, but if you look at energy, it's not down like crazy. It's settled down. Like, how we had those big upside or downside moves recently, it's settled down a lot. So it's good to see. Well, especially the downside, you don't want to see those freaking 5% moves. Or up in Canada here, we actually had like 10-15% swings, both to the downside and upside. So it's settled down. Like, it's only 2, 3, 1, maybe 4% move today. It's to the downside, unfortunately, but it's actually been rallying a little bit recently. If you want to we won't get into it, but I've been monitoring that on my own today here. But we'll look at Twitter, some news here. So obviously Elon is terminating the Twitter deal. We're going to court. Clearly, the deal is that they have a binding contract at the end of the day. Elon signed that contract and they're going to take him to court for it. It's funny, before they were, trying to get him not to buy Twitter, and now they're trying to get him to buy it. Obviously, if Elon leaves and he gets out of this deal, price is going to go to 20 something for sure. I'm even bold enough to say the teens at the end of the day. If you look at this PE, I'm not sure how accurate that is because it's just off of here. We'll get maybe a more accurate number for their PE. Yeah, 148. It's ridiculous, but I don't think in any world can Twitter justify that, especially now. But it's very interesting to see. But anyways, we'll look at Tesla. Interestingly, it's down 6.2. Twitter is down 8.4. And even though Elon is exiting, or supposed to be exiting Twitter, it's down today. As you can see, it was up today, though. At one point, I believe it was started off day green, but then it just sold off. I think it's not going away. Obviously, they're going to court. You could argue, that's just going to take away from Elon's attention to Tesla. And at the end of the day, you want Elon's full undivided attention to Tesla. You really do. Like, the he's Elon Musk, but moving on from that here, I always get tired of people talking about Twitter anytime it comes up in the news and stuff. It's just like, or on TV, it's just like, whatever. Why do I care? And honestly, another thing is I want to briefly talk about is that much as I love Elon, he's just an absolute wild card and a half. As stocks, any stock he's involved in is just extremely volatile and can be so unpredictable. And I hate unpredictability and I hate wild cards. I really do. It's not to compare them to China, but China, those, like, their stocks and companies are just so, they have the wild card is the Chinese government, and they're so unpredictable and such a wild card, often to the downside. That's why I don't like China at all. It's just such a wild card. You don't know whatever is going to happen. And somewhat same with Elon. He's just so all over the place. I love him, but I would have trouble investing into any of his stocks. As much as I love Tesla, but you can actually make a bit of an interesting case against Tesla. Someone did. It was very interesting on TV, but I still love Tesla. It's a good stock at the end of the day, and you have Elon again. So moving on here, we have Macau, COVID-19 outbreak. They shuttered their casinos, as you can see here. So few companies are affected by that are listed. The gambling companies / I think travel companies that have exposure in Macau. For those who don't know, I never really knew until this happened, but Macau is like a huge gambling, like, capital of the world almost. It's huge for gambling, and it's actually a Portuguese colony. I learned recently because this was in the news and stuff. I didn't know that. And they're somewhat like Hong Kong. They're like semi-autonomous. It's very interesting. I never really knew that they existed at all before this. So definitely interesting. We'll look at crude today. We can refresh this. It was down a lot more earlier today, but it's rallied somewhat here, as you can see, which is nice to see. Natural gas is up a lot. It's up in that $6 range again. And then a little bit of oil news and stuff here. So you guys can see, just a huge bull on oil. Still am. I'm thinking about making a video about just reaffirming why I'm such a big bull on oil, and as well as the oil companies that I own. They're all mid-cap, small-cap oils, and there's a reason why I have them, and I want to maybe make a big video on why I would way rather have them over, up in Canada here, it's like Suncor is our big cap, or even an Exxon or a Chevron. Why I would have, the smaller mid caps, right, for right now. And we'll look at just Bitcoin here. Why not have a little bit of a look at it and see it's a bit of a fall. Obviously, you see it was trading around here for a while. Well, it's kind of just doing the same thing. It traded around this bit of a range, dropped, traded around this range, dropped a lot again, and now it's trading just around this range. So I don't know what is going to happen again. In my mind, it's heavily correlated with equities as well as the Nasdaq. You know, you could say it isn't or whatever, but for now you can't deny it's just correlated to that. It's a very risk-off asset. Honestly, until the Fed basically says, you know, we're maybe going to stop hiking, you know, we get a light at the end of a real light at the end of the tunnel. Not, I was going to say a light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm beginning to maybe see it. You know, I've been a big bear on equities, and I think we're going to go a lot lower, but I'm beginning to see a light at the end of the tunnel. But anyways, again, I wouldn't be expecting Bitcoin to do anything at all until basically the Fed stops hiking, to be honest, and inflation is not a problem as much as it is an inflation hedge. This is a very risk-off market, and until the stock market environment changes, which will effectively take the Fed pivoting again, which isn't going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. I wouldn't be into Bitcoin. It wouldn't surprise me if it went to 10K, sub 10K. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying it's gonna. I'm not making any predictions on Bitcoin. It's far too volatile and far too unpredictable, but I would not be surprised if it went sub 10K. And I also wouldn't be surprised if in 2 years from now it's back at 100K and it makes new all-time highs. Well, not back at 100K, but it goes to 100K. It's never been to 100K, but you know, at the time or when it was making, you know, the 52-week range, I was kind of one of those people who was maybe thinking it was going to, you know, hit 100K. There was a whole bunch of people, you know, saying, you know, 100K, 100K. A lot has changed, but it's plenty to think about nonetheless. Have a little bit, one last look at S&P. For where we are, it's 11 o'clock on the dot here pretty much. And we'll have a little bit look at the heat map, because why not? As you guys can see there, just a little bit of a look at everything. So I hope everyone is doing great, and I hope everyone enjoys.